Greetings, spear beings, greetings, supreme being, where all the human race, our common enemy is death. Welcome on Perfect Society. I'm Ulrich Hoffman. This is the broadcast Coronavirus, possibly not antibody dependent. If airborne, can C virus spread via anything? Can the coronavirus spread via anything if it's airborne? How airborne is it? But mainly the question, is it antibody dependent, and why it might not be antibody dependent. So let's go to the desktop. I've prepared some stuff for this broadcast. Let's see. That's not what I want to show. Well, the story goes basically, let's first start with a white blood cell. High temperature can supposedly kill the coronavirus. 80 degrees supposedly kills it, but does that mean that 40 degrees when people get a fever does not kill it? So these 98% of the people that survived must have had some other thing that killed the virus for them, and that is known as their immune system, their antibodies. Don't know if there are other mechanisms that can do this in the human body. Anyway, theoretically their antibodies killed it. So then that's what my new theory is based on, that it's not antibody dependent, but it's totally theory. I'm not a medical doctor, etc. And we've heard, or at least I've heard, that this is genetically, well, let's hear what Virus Hunter lays 411 on coronavirus has to say. CGTN has uploaded this.
SARS had a mortality which was much higher than this coronavirus, even though the two of them are genetically related.
So the coronavirus is genetically related to SARS. According to this person, and that's, doesn't say anywhere. Well, it says, the John Snow Professor of Epidemiology at the Mailman School of Public Health of Columbia University. Oh no, those are several names. Talks to Walter Lon or Ian Lipkin, Walter Ian Lipkin, the John Snow Professor of Epidemiology at the Mailman School of Public Health of Columbia University. Professor Lipkin, one of the world's leading virus hunters, has claimed this. Genetically related to SARS coronavirus. And that, I don't know if that's antibody dependent, but Ebola is, and I read about SARS coronavirus. Let's see if this works. SARS coronavirus. That's in my broadcast about and being antibody dependent, coronavirus being antibody dependent, and you can see that here on my channel. That's not the one. Here, novel coronavirus novel coronavirus 2019 nCoV antibody dependent virus, important, possibly alarming. So let's see the links in this. I put all the links to the articles in the description. Antibody-dependent SARS coronavirus infection is mediated by antibodies against spike proteins. PubMed article. So that's generally accepted, basically. Also, I've been seeing new messages appearing under videos that I did a broadcast about as well. Molecular mechanism for antibody-dependent enhancement of coronavirus entry. Journal of Virology is another one. So I'm not guaranteeing it either way. It is related to ARDS, acute respiratory deficiency syndrome, if I'm correct. And I don't know if that's also related to antibody dependentness. So that means that people with many antibodies, with a strong immune system, bleed out first. It depends on these antibodies. It sort of eats these antibodies or whatever. That's what antibody dependent means. And Ebola is antibody dependent for sure. And because of these two articles, I thought, well, then probably this is antibody dependent as well. But the point is, if 98% survives and their body temperature cannot kill it, then what else besides their antibodies could have killed this virus for them? How have they survived? Though they were infected, 98% of them, about 2.1%, dropped to 2.01%, are killed by it. So that means 98% survive. Still about 3,000 new cases per day. We can check news. On BNO News, it's faster than currently 34,957 confirmed cases worldwide, including 725 fatalities, and they have a good graphic at the bottom that shows whether it keeps on growing exponentially. But here we see a little dip, so it seems to be going in the other direction now. First it was going up exponentially. If it would have continued, then it would have gone like this basically, finishing in an almost straight line up. But here we see that it's sort of going down, the number of confirmed cases. And here on this date, the number of deaths was growing less fast. It's not going down, I mean it's growing less fast than before, the amount of confirmed cases. Okay. So then there's that, and the company Ruilan Biotech Limited. The question is if that company also produces designer viruses or genetic components thereof, because if they don't, then they don't have anything to do with this. And perhaps neither does Peer Bright or others, because this may be thoroughly prepared population reduction of planet Earth. Event 201 was covered by me and many others as well. And basically this is a little plush version of the coronavirus. Gates Foundation simulated exact coronavirus outbreak scenario last November with, quote, Event 201. And Dr. Cottrell made the point that 201 could stand for the 1st of February 2020, when the first case was registered in New York. This is a New York Times article. New York City ICE first suspected case of coronavirus. A sample was being sent to the federal authorities for confirmation, the city health department says. Exactly like in the false flag, or the, not false flag, the pandemic exercise, basically, the Event 201 exercise. And we see that it's still pending, people under investigation in New York City. One person is still pending the result, though that was the 1st of February, and now it's already a week later, and they're claiming that it can last like up to 48 hours before they have a result. So here, testing to determine whether pending cases are confirmed as positive or negative will take at least 36 to 48 hours. So this is on www.1.nyc.gov, and this is all linked in the other video. I'm not going to link all these videos again. This is just a short statement to make clear that it's possible that Wulan Biotech Limited is not at all involved in the creation of medical supplies, etc. Perhaps they only do makeup supplies and things like that. But let's read this article, Biotechnology, because they're a biotech company and they can be involved with medicine as well. Or perhaps it's best if I do that in my next broadcast, because I want to shop something, and then this broadcast is not about that. But perhaps it's best if I just do it now. It's just 5 minutes reading the biotechnology. I'll link this in the description, and I'll link the other important link. Did I have any other important link with this? And then I can go. So I would like to know more about this company. Where can I find information about Wulan Biotech Limited? About the company itself. They all write about Resident Evil and the T virus, etc. But this is the C virus, the coronavirus. And of course, Raccoon City of the movie Resident Evil is an anagram for corona, C corona. And that letter C basically, so you have an extra letter C because raccoon is with double C. Oh yeah, and the other thing, perhaps it's more interesting to read. But that's for next broadcast. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation give $100 million to Moderna to develop Zika vaccine. Looks like Gates is chums with Moderna and AstraZeneca too. No one owns, quote, the patent, unquote, on coronavirus, Thunderian Superstar wrote on VigilanceCitizenForums.com. The patent on coronavirus. Well, there are several coronaviruses, and there are definitely patents owned by Pirbright and others, perhaps. But Pirbright definitely, the patent that Pirbright owns is for a different strain. How are they so certain that that's for a different strain? They claim it's also for injection into humans in the patent itself, which I covered several times, so I'm not going to do repetitive content. It's all linked in my previous broadcasts. The strain that is known as the Wuhan is being worked on by Moderna Inc. Moderna Inc. is not funded by nor is connected to Pirbright or Bill Gates. Well, Penn said Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation gave $100 million to Moderna. So that wasn't true, but you can read it all on VigilanceCitizenForums.com. But Moderna is actually funded by AstraZeneca, the company that makes my own particular life-saving medication. 2019 and COG. COG is continuity of government. They have COG, but not COS, continuity of society. You can have this for a month before it kills you. happened to the poor doctor. It's transmissible via air and lives on doorknobs, and it's been found in people's stools and gets aerosolized with the flush of the toilet. It will travel through vents and get folks sick, folks. It can take a week or more to probably show symptoms, and you can infect others without showing symptoms. Look at the Princess Cruise. A guy has already infected 61 people on that boat, and he showed no symptoms while on it. It's extremely contagious, and I think within a few months it'll be all over the US and many other countries. I'll take some tea. Its bad issue is if you develop pneumonia, you need oxygen. How many hospitals are prepared to administer oxygen to the masses? It's not that it's super deadly. You can buy oxygen in bottles as well on eBay. You know the high mem story. I've had this for 8 years. You can also see it in my old videos. And besides that, I smoke. Oldest people in the world were smokers, and cannabis, THC, the active ingredient in cannabis, kills tumors by blocking vascular VEGF. They let me misclick. They control muscle movement also. Vascular endothelial growth factor, a protein needed by tumors to sprout. So THC kills VEGF, and that's why cannabis kills tumors, cancer, and according to the study done by Complutense University, etc. But it's also a cure for many other diseases, and it can be eaten, etc. But my point was, it's best not to start smoking, theoretically. And I've also seen a message that these black lungs we see on pictures that they claim of that they're smokers' lungs are in fact coal mine worker lungs. And the oldest people in the world were smokers, Miss Calment and others. And it might also kill viruses, etc. and be anti-parasitic, anti-helminthicum. So they never talk about the health advantages of smoking, only about the disadvantages. And perhaps that is because the cancer chemtrails, viruses spread in cancer chemtrails, may be killed by it as well. So smoking might not be as bad as people think, also because of the reaction of our body. It tends to, or it just expels these particles from our lungs and body, so it leads to slime production and other things. And with that also viruses and other stuff comes out. We also sweat it out, etc. It's marvelous. So let's read the biotechnology article to have a better idea of what Ruilan Biotech Limited means. Apparently I've closed the text-to-speech engine, so I'll restart it. I'll cover the text in another broadcast perhaps, but I don't want to do broadcasts that are too risky. So it's also to set things straight that I said in previous broadcasts. But in fact it could still be an antibody-dependent virus. So it kills via ARDS. Acute respiratory distress syndrome. And some people think it's a designer virus because it may have elements of Ebola, AIDS, SARS, and other viruses in it supposedly, but I doubt this. So let's read the biotechnology, the broad area of biotechnology wiki article. Biotech stands for biotechnology. Ta-da! So the strange thing is, it has definitely copied the text, but the text-to-speech engine... Oh, clipboard watch wasn't on. Alright. Well, anyway, then we do it this way.
Biotechnology is the broad area of biology involving living systems and organisms to develop or make products, or any technological application that uses biological systems, living organisms, or derivatives thereof, to make or modify products or processes for specific use. UN Convention on Biological Diversity, Art. 2. 1. Depending on the tools and applications, it often overlaps with the related fields of molecular biology, bioengineering, biomedical engineering, biomanufacturing, molecular engineering, etc. Biotechnology does not involve DNA editing as it is part of the new branch CRISPR, which was recently found by Osaka University researcher Yoshizumi Ishino and his colleagues in 1987. For thousands of years, humankind...
That it doesn't involve DNA editing doesn't mean that they cannot produce designer viruses. I think they can get that material from other companies that don't do the DNA editing themselves, but we'll read about what they do.
Has used biotechnology in agriculture, food production, environment and medicine. 2. The term is largely believed to have been coined in 1919 by Hungarian engineer Karoly Erecki. In the late 20th and early 21st centuries, biotechnology has expanded to include new and diverse sciences such as genomics, recombinant gene techniques, applied immunology, and development of pharmaceutical therapies and diagnostic tests. To visit my YouTube channels, Try Something. Vegetarian, Perfect Society and the Future channel on YouTube. Be prepared, everyone. Form real resistance to death, our common enemy. Safety first. Mir, Salam, Shalom, Hiwa, Major typing on, Shanti Shanti. Universal Everda now. Universal peace now. Medicine in medicine. Modern biotechnology has many applications in areas such as pharmaceutical drug discoveries and production, pharmacogenomics, and genetic testing, or genetic screening. DNA microarray chip. Some can do as many as 1 million blood tests at once. Pharmacogenomics, a combination of pharmacology and genomics, is the technology that analyzes how genetic makeup affects an individual's response to drugs. 33. Researchers in the field investigate the influence of genetic variation on drug responses in patients by correlating gene expression or single nucleotide polymorphisms with a drug's efficacy or toxicity. 34. The purpose of pharmacogenomics is to develop rational means to optimize drug therapy, with respect to the patient's genotype, to ensure maximum efficacy with minimal adverse effects. 35. Such approaches promise the advent of personalized medicine, in which drugs and drug combinations are optimized for each individual's unique genetic makeup. 36-37. Computer-generated image of insulin hexamers highlighting the threefold symmetry, the zinc ions holding it together, and the histidine residues involved in zinc binding. Biotechnology has contributed to the discovery and manufacturing of traditional small molecule pharmaceutical drugs as well as drugs that are the product of biotechnology. Biopharmaceutics. Modern biotechnology can be used to manufacture existing medicines relatively easily and cheaply. The first genetically engineered products were medicines designed to treat human diseases. To cite one example, In 1978, Genentech developed synthetic humanized insulin by joining its gene with a plasmid vector inserted into the bacterium Escherichia coli. Insulin, widely used for the treatment of diabetes, was previously extracted from the pancreas of abattoir animals, cattle or pigs. The genetically engineered bacteria are able to produce large quantities of synthetic human insulin at relatively low cost. 3839. Biotechnology has also enabled emerging therapeutics like gene therapy. The application of biotechnology to basic science, for example through the Human Genome Project, has also dramatically improved our understanding of biology, and as our scientific knowledge of normal and disease biology has increased, our ability to develop new medicines to treat previously untreatable diseases has increased as well. 39. Genetic testing allows the genetic diagnosis of vulnerabilities to inherited diseases, and can also be used to determine a child's parentage, genetic mother and father, or in general a person's ancestry. In addition to studying chromosomes to the level of individual genes, genetic testing in a broader sense includes biochemical tests for the possible presence of genetic diseases, or mutant forms of genes associated with increased risk of developing genetic disorders. Genetic testing identifies changes in chromosomes, genes, or proteins. 40. Most of the time, testing is used to find changes that are associated with inherited disorders. The results of a genetic test can confirm or rule out a suspected genetic condition or help determine a person's chance of developing or passing on a genetic disorder. As of 2011, several hundred genetic tests were in use. 4142. Since genetic testing may open up ethical or psychological problems, genetic testing is often accompanied by genetic counseling.
So I've covered this in a previous broadcast, basically. Zhaofeng World Trade Building, but here it says parking lot, and here it says Mega World Trade Center next to the buildings in some area where there is no building. So I've also looked for pictures to find out more about this company, etc. So on Made in China we can read about the address, so that's how to find it on the Google Maps basically. But here in the pictures, the second picture reminded me of the glass hallway in Resident Evil, the movies, 6 Resident Evil movies, with the lasers, etc. Except for the elevators in this also has glass side panels, etc. And this yellowish door at the end. So that's on deshandadang.com. Okay. So we'd have to find out if they're also involved with making genetically modified ingredients or medicine. Or if they're totally not involved in that. Because that some people think that it's from biotech company near Wuhan. Of course, the biotech company doesn't have to be in Wuhan to be able to produce it. They wouldn't spread it around their own building if it was produced there, basically. So I'm not suggesting that. I mean, that others are suggesting that it cannot be this company because they're producing stuff for makeup products, and the other reason was that they're not in Wuhan, basically. So that's it for this broadcast. This is the whole broadcast. Thank you all for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share on your timeline. Especially likes are appreciated to get higher in the Google search algorithms so that other people can find my videos. If you all like my video, then people will see more videos about saving the maximum number of human lives, creating that perfect society in which we all will live happily eternally, and the latest info about the most important topics that are at the moment discussed in the world. People are welcome to debate. Skype ProLogic 999. For now, I gotta go do some shopping before it's dark. And thank you all for watching. Tune in next time. Do stuff for universal peace. Kiss for single ladies who like that. And do healing things like yoga, massage each other, make love, not war, make love go AWOL, it's safest. Make love, not war, the John Lennon quote. And he might be among the first to be resurrected, of course, if people are going to get resurrected because time travel technology exists. And eventually they'll figure it out, probably. Then it's possible that the righteous get resurrected and the killers, etc., don't get resurrected because it can time travel. Synthetic telepathy has been around since 1974. It can brain map people so it knows whether somebody is a killer or not, etc. Anyway, that's the neural network, time traveling neural network broadcast, also on Perfect Society and Try Something.vegetarian on YouTube. Peace out.